Women are so fucking cool.
Women are so fucking cool.
Hello, it's that time again. Women are so fucking cool. The podcast where we respect, encourage, and celebrate all people. Today, this episode is the first episode in April. So it's a fun month. It's my birthday month, and it's also Earth Day month. Of course, we know Earth Day is every day, but it is nice to have some recognition to just showcase a little bit more. And I had the pleasure and opportunity to organize the Earth Day festivals here in Savannah, Georgia for many years. And last year, I transferred it, I passed it on to another fucking cool woman, Katie Rodgers-Hubbard. Yay, Katie. I met her a couple years ago when she participated in one of the Earth Days that I was organizing. And she is still in the community and she's so community minded, which I love. She opened up a store, a sustainability store, right in the heart of the Creative Arts District here in Savannah, the Starland District. And it's called the Lite Foot Company. Lite Foot, Lite, which is your carbon light foot. And she also has a nonprofit, the Lite Foot Foundation. So it was a perfect match, a perfect opportunity for me to pass on the producing of the Earth Day Festival to another nonprofit and group of people who are just as passionate as I am to create a diverse and inclusive festival. And I can't wait to attend this year. But I wanted to start April with Katie, just so that put some sustainability and reusable ideas in your head. Although we didn't talk about that much, but you can find all of her information on in the show notes. And remember, you can support the Lightfoot Foundation with a donation to help with this year's Earth Day Festival as well. I'm sure she's looking for sponsors. And if you like this podcast, you can also sponsor this podcast. You can find out details about that on the Patreon site, links below. Like it, subscribe, and share. Best thing you could do every day is share a fucking cool woman. Talk about her. Tell people what she's doing. Spread the word so that we can all pitch in and help each other. So, on that note, let's talk to Katie Rodgers-Hubbard. Yeah. Wow. I say this all the time and I'll probably say it again. I am so grateful for all the fucking cool women that I know. And I have one with me again. And this time it's Katie Hubbard. Hello, Katie.
Hello. I am so thankful that you bring fucking cool women together, Joanne.
So I'm going to just take it. But I already bragged about you at the beginning of before I started this conversation, but I really want to just deep dive, just jump right in because it's such an interesting insight for myself, and I know the listeners to hear all the different definitions and reasons and explanations of what makes a fucking cool woman and who is a fucking cool woman.
I think what makes a fucking cool woman is a woman who is comfortable being who she is. And I think, I know for me personally, that took a while to lean into because I'm on the weirder side. But I think women who are just comfortable being how they're made and who they are in any environment, in any scenario, going after what they want and just, being who they are.
Yeah, I can agree with you. And as you were saying that, what popped into my head, and then because you are a business owner, you own this amazing store in Savannah, the Lite Foot Company. And when you go and use your bathroom, I don't know if you realize, I mean, you know what's in your bathroom, but what I always catch my eye is the pictures of the women that are in your bathroom, your fucking cool women friends.
Yeah.
You know,
this is great because this is the week of Galentine's, which is like my favorite holiday. because it is for one, I'm obsessed with Leslie Knope's character, or Amy Poehler's character on Parks and Rec, Leslie Knope. I think that she celebrates female friendships well. She celebrates the women in her life. And that's something I've always been very intentional with, because I've always been blessed to have like a horde of female friendships. And so every year on Galentine's, I probably spend way too much time preparing a Galentine's party to celebrate the women in my life. And so that in my bathroom, which is a weird thing in hindsight, but one year for Galentine's, I made trading cards for every single one of my friends that came. And everyone had like a beautiful picture of them that I creepily found. And then like stats, like what I loved about them, what they were good about. And I made like individual ones for everybody, but then I blew up them and had them all sign it. And that's what's hanging in my bathroom at the store, is like their trading cards. They're like personal stats of like why I think they're amazing women.
Well, I think having them in the bathroom is really the ideal place, because think about how many amazing conversations you've had with either a woman that you know or a stranger in the bathroom, women's bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they're like, what's that about? All these wonderful women staring at me while I go to the bathroom. And then I get to say, like, I have a trove of people in this town who are inspiring, amazing, make me better. And they deserve to be celebrated, admittedly, in probably more ways than a bathroom shrine. But that's what we got for them.
Yeah, no. I love it. When you are a fucking cool woman and you talk to other women, you immediately know who an FCW is, because you immediately feel that respect from that person, you know?
Yeah, there is something about that, like instant understanding, kind of a mutual understanding. Like you're someone who like inspires people. You're someone who's like comfortable with who they are.
Right. And not like intimidated. That whole, let's cooperate, not compete.
Yes. Which is still sad that I want nothing a part of that. I don't think I have any friends anymore that are the competitive, because I'm just like, we're not doing that. We are surrounding ourselves with people who are only clapping and not like crossing their fingers for us.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree 100%. And so, so then the other element about the FCW society and being a fucking cool woman is we're feminists. We have this strong desire to bring equality to all people, right? We all should have a choice. So what are your thoughts about, being a feminist, being an environmentalist, being a fucking cool woman?
Yeah, I think like that, like intersection just makes sense to me. Like I find it like people who identify as feminists like want equality, and I think that's not just for like all people. That is for like, let's make sure our earth has a chance at this. Like all systems of oppression, all systems that are like the proverbial man, like the man, whatever, we want to fight against that. And I think that we see that in a lot of the things that prevent our earth from thriving. We see that like the power dynamics that women had for so long, that people of color have so long, that our LGBTQ plus people are having right now. Like we see that in terms of like what our earth is fighting. Like there's like so many things that we sometimes feel like we don't have power over. And I feel like that it just kind of goes hand in hand. Like the people who are passionate about that are the people who are passionate about all of those injustices. I've also found like the people who aren't maybe, who are like passionate about some of these issues, but maybe are not passionate about the environment. I have, or, insert A, B, or C or whatever. I have found that those are the easiest conversations to have, because it is those people that they're already prone to those things that we're talking about. They're already prone to like, oh yeah, but they just never had that aha moment. Much like me, like I grew up in a town of 2,000 people. I only interacted with people who had the same faith, had the same race as me, same ideology. And so it wasn't until later in my life when I started like, oh, there's injustices in the world. Like I think that there are the same conversations, like people who are really passionate about this. Once you have that conversation, it's like an aha moment. Like, oh yeah, and like that's half of what I'm doing with Lite Foot. In Savannah, we have a whole city who's like, well, we know that there's a climate crisis, but we've never really thought about like what we can do about it. And once you have this conversation, it's easy. And now they're my customers, they're my supporters, but they need someone to have those conversations with them about A, B, C, or D.
I completely agree with you. I think that's the really important, very important in this day and age, is to continue to have conversations with people. So tell me about a woman who has inspired you.
Ooh, that I feel like I could pick from a large bag. Should have had that one coming, huh? Man.
I know it's a hard question.
I mean, I really do feel so like I feel like this is the area where I feel like so much gratitude, because I have had so many like amazing women, both that I've looked up to or that I have like called friends. That's very hard.
Well, and so let me just ask you another question. And I think this one, how do you, and I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before, but how does these three words, respect, encourage, and celebrate, how do you incorporate these in your business as an environmentalist and as a business owner?
Yeah, so I think a lot about culture and the culture that we create, both in our personal lives and within my business. I've thought about that in probably every work environment that I've worked in, because I worked in higher ed for many years. So I was very passionate about creating an environment where students feel the best that they can so they can learn what they need to in college. And so I think about creating a culture where all three of those words can thrive, right? So like I have made it a point to make sure that Lite Foot Company and Lite Foot Foundation is a place where nobody feels intimidated by, nobody feels like it is inaccessible, nobody feels like they can't be a part of it. And so, yeah, I feel like I've just tried to be very intentional about creating that culture where everyone's welcome to be a part of this, because in actuality, we need everyone to be a part of fighting climate change in order to do that. But I do know that, I mean, God, especially in light of what our country's climate is in, a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing like going to a store to buy basic needs because of how corporations have aligned themselves. And I just feel like that is insane and should not happen. I'm like, I sell hand soap. Like, let's make sure people feel comfortable getting hand soap, no matter who they are. And so I think I've just tried to create that environment and that culture where everyone can take part in it.
But how do you navigate staying aligned with what your values are, and supporting your community and supporting the business owners locally, and supporting the local, the staff of all these, there's so many jobs tied up with everything,
Yeah.
It's
hard to do that. I think like number one, when you first started talking, like part of that is I feel like I am always kind of true to who I am, right? I try as hard as one can, right? And so part of my kind of natural inclination is to just support those around me and bring people together. I think I'm a very natural community maker. That's something that, you know, I have always been able to be a part in, like, building good community. So I do that within my personal life, but also like the small business community. I mean, I think over the last year, oddly enough, my Instagram has kind of went that route, as now I'm suddenly like a spokesperson for the small business community. And I think, like, you know, helping to make other owners, whatever they are, whether they're, you know, female or not, feel connected to each other. And so I think I'm just like using kind of what the premise of what I define a fucking cool woman to being, of like, I'm trying to be myself and see that spread throughout my business.
I'm really glad that you talked about, I sometimes forget you talked about, you know, living in a small town of 2,000 people. Even though I grew up in the suburbs types of, you know, very white, middle class, Midwestern town. So I had 600 kids in my high school graduating class. It was kind of a big class, but it was all white and it was pre-internet, so very limited information. But I immediately moved to big cities. And so I would, you know, when I was 20, I was living in a bigger city. And as someone who lives in a bigger city, you do get exposed to very different things. And you have to just remember, we have to be mindful that somebody who only has 2,000 people, of course, they don't know everything. And you have to give them opportunity to learn and to expand and evolve. And I think that's the biggest, and that's just respecting your journey, you know, respecting each person's journey.
Yeah. And that's why I also bring up, like, those, some people just need to have that conversation. They need to be educated, because I feel like that's all I needed. But I didn't get that until I was in my early 20s, you know? So I think people just need that, because worldview is a context, and people who have not had their worldview, they haven't seen anything else in the world. Now at some point people have to go out and search for other things, you know. I'm not putting it all on that context, but it is a context that I think is important.
Yeah.
And I try to be gracious with.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. We still have to do the individual work to grow and to evolve. That's just part of the journey of being a human being in this planet. We have to do the work. But we can find support with other people for sure.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that you'd like to share or add? Anything else? Just, you know, has this conversation sparked any insights? I mean, I'm going to share all the stuff about your store and the links and any events that you might be coming up, if it's in a timely way.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would be shocked. Well, you know, I feel like I've had many relationships and female friendships over the years. And even my most confident, driven friends need encouragement. And they have voices still that say, maybe today I'm not fucking cool, you know? And they could have 99 straight days when they think that. But there is times when we all think that. And I think that is the importance of having conversations like this, of having podcasts like this, having people who are like passionate about like encouragement and things like that, because I think that we all just kind of need to be in each other's lives and be a reminder of that. Because everyone's going to have their days, months, years, whatever. But I think it is important to know the broader scope of it. Like, I think that it is because of the work everybody is doing that I think that we're able to continually like find our power, and our drive is the people around us who are encouraging as well. And I think that just like cascades on one another.
Yeah, that's really, you can't hear that enough either. You can't hear it enough. You can't, you know, because I really liked what you said, 99 days of feeling on top of the world, and that one moment you can just,
Yeah.
so
And I say that because a lot of our context is, how do people appear in marketing? How do people appear in their social media? Because I'm thinking just like the business context. And that is just such a small scale of what things are. So just continue to be for the people in your life.
yeah, exactly. And also I want to just put out there, even if you don't, if you're listening to this, you have the FCW Society behind you. Even if we don't know you, you know that if we were to meet you and have a conversation with you, you would immediately be like, yep, you're part of it. So just knowing that there are fucking cool men out there supporting you, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Also go to therapy. Everyone should go to therapy.
Big
Big
time.
proponent of therapy.